Hi dear students, hope you are staying safe. Today I'm going to continue for lesson 1 and we will cover pages between 2 to 4. Um, Today we are going to focus on natural cycles. Natural cycles can be divided to the three cycles: water cycle, carbon cycle and nitrogen cycle. First of all, we will have a look at water cycle. For the water cycle, which is very common, and we can see what is happening around us, we can feel that the energy is provided by sun at the first stage. This energy can run the cycle, and this energy can be received by any water resource like sea, rivers, lake. So after that, the water on the surface of water resources like sea and river evaporated and moved to the in upper level like sky. Okay. So in the sky, water is cooled because the temperature in a higher level in the sky is the temperature is lower, and the water can change to another form like liquid form. Okay, this is because a change in temperature, because the temperature is very low in higher level, in higher place, so the water can change to liquid because it has already cooled it. uh, so in this step, the changing of the form of water is called condensation. Okay, condensation. So after condensation step, um, the water in form of liquid has two way to return back to the earth. Okay, either it directly go back to sea, or can be taken by plants. Okay, for example, after condensation, the water can be form of liquid, means precipitation like snow, like rains, all called precipitation. So precipitation from the sky, from the clouds, can be go the water can go directly to sea or river, or can be taken by plants, trees, leaves. Okay, so for the direct going back to the water resource, it's clear, but when it reached to the plants, there is one process called transpiration. Transpiration meaning that evaporation of the water which is located on surface of the leaves. The water which absorbed by leaves can be evaporated through the pores. Okay, here I put a picture to make more understanding. So the water which absorbed before in the leaves, they can be evaporated after they receive energy from sun, and the leaves can be heated and the water can be evaporated and then go back to the atmosphere. This process is called transpiration. When it goes back to the atmosphere again, another precipitation might be back to the plants or back to water resource. The second cycle is carbon cycle, and we look at for carbon cycle. The resource of carbon for the carbon cycle is carbon dioxide. Okay, carbon dioxide has the most percentage of the carbon in the carbon cycle. So first of all, we look at CO2 or carbon dioxide in atmosphere. So there are two way for leaving carbon dioxide from atmosphere. One is by green plants, which can be done by photosynthesis, and also carbon dioxide can leave the atmosphere by dissolving in sea, okay, seawater. Okay, here carbon dioxide can leave the atmosphere and taken by plants, or can be dissolved in a seawater. In seawater, we have plants and we have animals. We have plants like plants in phytoplankton, which no need to just as a extra information. There are phytoplankton, which is plants in the ocean or sea, and we have zooplankton, which is animal in sea. But totally, we are going to learn that we have plants and we have animal in sea. Okay, the plants in sea has the same function of the green plants on the land. They do photosynthesis also same, and the animal make a shell. They uptake the carbon from the carbon dioxide, and they create calcium carbonate, which is the main part of the shell. The lobsters or any other animals which they are living in their shells, so they use the carbon dioxide, actually carbon from carbon dioxide, and then make a shell. The uh, the shell is actually um, calcium carbonate, which we will learn more about calcium carbonate later. And so what happened after carbon dioxide been captured by water or plants or so on? So plants are eaten by animals. Okay, after carbon dioxide uptake are taken by plants, these plants can be eaten by animal, and both plants and animal uh, have died, and slowly they become fossilized. Okay, here you can see on the picture both animal and plants, they can be decayed and they fossilized under the land, and some of them, while the body are breaking down. Okay, so they can be they can be processed by a microorganism and changed to the limestone. Okay, some part of the plants and animal, after they die, they become fossilized, and some of them can be changed to the limestone by microorganism. The microorganism use the dead body. Okay, they use the dead body of animal and plants. So next, we are going to find how carbon dioxide come back to atmosphere. The first, we discussed about how carbon dioxide can enter to the land or can be taken, and after they captured by plants or animal, what happened. Now we are going to see how carbon dioxide can go back to the atmosphere. First is the respiration process by animal or plants, like human or animals. We are breathing actually. Okay, we are breathing. We use oxygen from air and use the oxygen in our body. Then we release carbon dioxide from our mouth or our nose. So we release the carbon dioxide to the atmosphere, and this is happening same for animals. Here animal respiration, or plants also, plant doing same. And one important things that plant is doing is photosynthesis. Okay, but this is actually reverse process of respiration. When plants take the carbon dioxide, they use the carbon dioxide of the atmosphere, and then they do a photosynthesis. Then they release oxygen to the atmosphere. This is the reverse process of respiration. So respiration is the opposite of photosynthesis. But for the photosynthesis, plants take carbon dioxide, but for respiration, plants or animal take oxygen and release carbon dioxide. Is a opposite. So photosynthesis is only happen in plants. The plant only can do photosynthesis, but respiration can be done by plants, both plants and animal, human also. So for respiration, that we are using the oxygen in atmosphere, also we are burning glucose or other sugar type of sugar. Then finally we release carbon dioxide and water also. Water can be leave from our body or animal by uh, urine, or when we get sweats and something like that. And ATP is energy. So finally we produce energy to do our things. And during when animal die, and at the time the animal's body is breaking down, they can produce the dead body can produce carbon dioxide. And the third way that carbon dioxide can back to the atmosphere is combustion. When we burn wood, paper, something like anything in our daily life, so actually we are producing a carbon dioxide, and this carbon dioxide back to the go back to the atmosphere. Like here you can see carbon, which is available in wood, paper, or gas, and something like that. Combustion is actually it's a reaction between any material with oxygen, any compound, any chemical with oxygen. When you have the oxygen O2 in your chemical reaction, meaning this chemical reaction is combustion, is a type of combustion. So combustion is a reaction between the O2 or oxygen in the air, which should be enough, and with other things like carbon or other chemical reaction. So after the combustion, we'll get carbon dioxide. So the fourth way is uh, burning fossil fuel like coal or oil is almost same with the third one, but this is just specified for fuel fossil fuels like coal, oil, and something like that. And the fifth way is activity of the factories by burning limestone. Actually, the fifth one also is a burning, but factories, as we know, produce factories produce a huge amount of carbon dioxide in atmosphere. The third cycle is nitrogen cycle. We are going to look at for nitrogen cycle. Nitrogen is essential for growing plants and animals. And plants use nitrogen available in soil for growing. Uh, as we know, for farming, usually a farmer use a fertilizer and add some more chemical to plants to grow up more. Actually, those fertilizer is they have contain of nitrogen compounds or nitrogen chemicals. The nitrogen chemical which artificially added to soil, so the nitrogen can be taken by plants and it helps for growing plants and also animal. Nitrogen or N2 in atmosphere is unreactive, as I mentioned in previous session. Nitrogen or N2 in an atmosphere in unreactive unless there is a lightning or raining thunderstorm. Lightning can break down the nitrogen. N2 means two atom of the nitrogen bonded to each other. So lightning can break down this molecule and change it to the another form, and it can produce reactive. It can produces reactive nitrogen. Plants get nitrogen from nitrites. These nitrites can be prepared by fertilizers, can be prepared from lightning or some other reaction, and also after that animals like cow or those animals which use plants, they can uptake the nitrogen in their body. So there is one question: what is the nitrogen fixation? There are many bacteria that live in roots of plants and they use the nitrogen from the atmosphere. I said that nitrogen in atmosphere is unreactive. One way that nitrogen be taken can be entered to the soil is by changing the form by lightning, or sometimes farmer give artificially nitrogen or fertilizer to the land. And another way is nitrogen fixation by bacteria. Okay, some bacteria uh, are living in roots of plants. Those bacteria are able to absorb the nitrogen in atmosphere not very far away, only the nitrogen in atmosphere or environment which are around the around the roots or on the surface of the lands, I'm showing by mouse. If you look at the screen, just those nitrogen I said, which is not very high level, in high level, those nitrogen which are very close to the surface of the land can be taken by those type of bacteria. So the bacteria are able to uptake the nitrogen and just do some biological process and change the nitrogen into another type like nitrite, ammoniac, or ammonium, something like that. These are just, I put this picture to see some extra nitrogen compounds, like this is ammonia or ammoniac or other nitrogen based compound. The ways that nitrogen enter to the soil first can be done by lightning and rain. As I said, the nitrogen in atmosphere are unreactive, but one way which these nitrogen can enter to the soil is by lightning. Lightning can change the chemical form of N2 or nitrogen gas. And another one is industrial fertilizer that usually uh, it can be used by farmers for farming and for growing plants, vegetables, something like that. And the third is excretion by animal after animal eat the plants and get the nitrogen from plants. Again, extraction from animal can return back the nitrogen to the soil. Number four is death of animal and plants. Those so far we know that plants and animal can uptake the nitrogen. They have nitrogen actually after they die. The dead body of animal and plant can release the nitrogen to the soil. And the way that nitrogen can back to the atmosphere. So until now we just talking about how nitrogen can enter to the soil. Now there is a two-way based on your book that shows nitrogen can back to the atmosphere. One is taken by plants, okay, taken by plants from the roots, and then nitrogen can leave through the leaves. And the second is by nitrogen fixing bacteria. The nitrogen fixing bacteria meaning that these bacteria not only uptake the nitrogen from the atmosphere, but also these bacteria are able to do some process on the nitrogen absorbed, then to change those nitrogen to N2, to nitrogen gas, and then release the nitrogen to the atmosphere. So this two-way, this two-way is the way that nitrogen can enter to the soil, and also this two-way can release the nitrogen gas from the soil to the atmosphere. That's all for today, and later in next session when we will have enough contents, I mean we will have enough uh, lessons, then I will try to put some quiz or question after any session. Then you need to give me the answer. And that's enough for today. Please leave a comment down as your attendance. Take care.